Hello everybody. Today we will be breaking down the Unity Cup banner, which will consist of Riko Kishimoto and the Power Rice Shower card. And since this banner has a lot of discussion going on about it, I will be telling you the true value that you will get if you decided to pull on this banner. However, if you found this video to be helpful, consider subscribing. It will help the channel growth. Anyways, back to the topic. Firstly, we will be talking about Riko Kishimoto, since she has two different cards, that being the R version of Riko Kishimoto and the SSR version of Riko Kishimoto. Let's talk about the R version of Riko. Firstly, I'm only going to mention the 0 limit break to max limit break Riko Kishimoto. The reason is that between limit break 0 and limit break 3, there isn't really a big of a change. It is essentially the exact same card up until max limit break on the R version of Riko. Comparing the max limit break to no limit break R version of Riko, as you can see, the biggest two changes that you want to look out for is going to be energy cost reduction and also trading effectiveness. Trading effectiveness, of course, being much more important, and this is the sole reason that you really want to max limit break the R version of Riko, since she gives 5% trading effectiveness. It might not sound like a lot, but once I get to the reasons why Riko is very strong, you will understand why this 5% trading effectiveness is very good. As for the SSR version of Riko, the biggest jump in power is going to be at limit break 2, since she gives you 10% trading effectiveness and also a good amount of energy cost reduction, being at 18.65%. At limit break 1, she is still usable, since she has 5% trading effectiveness, which means that LB1 SSR Riko is going to be slightly stronger than MLB R Riko. However, if you have limit break 0 SSR Riko, do not use it unless your R version of Riko is not a max limit break. If you have MLB R Riko, then do not use LB0 SSR Riko at all, since she is not going to be as strong since there isn't any trading effectiveness. One more thing that I want to mention before going to the SSR Rice Shower Power card, and that is going to be that our version of rank cards only have 4 dates on the global server currently. Using the R version of Tazana, as you can see, we only get 4 dates as opposed to the 5 dates if we used the SSR version of Tazana instead. Let's talk about Riko's events and how much stats that you will end up getting from them. Please keep in mind that this assumes that you pick the top option for all Riko's event. However, this one event has a small chance of you failing the check with Riko, which makes her not date you, which locks you pretty much from all of these stats. If you want to be safe, then pick the middle one instead. As you can see, the MLB-R version of Riko and 1LB SSR Riko is going to be very different. The reason is that you have an access to an additional date with Riko on the SSR version compared to the R version of Riko, which is of course going to be something that is very strong for the SSR version of Riko, but keep in mind that 0LB SSR Riko is still not good enough with that 5th date because of that training effectiveness actually adding up quite a lot. And that is it for Riko Kishimoto. Moving on, we have the SSR Rice Shower Power card. Her biggest jump in power is going to be between limit break 1 and max limit break. The limit break 1 giving you an extra power bonus, since power bonus is locked up until level 35, which requires 1 limit break. And the max limit break version, since she gives you an extra 10% trading effectiveness. which makes her a very good option in terms of a roamer, even though she has 50 specialty priority, which is a good amount. Since she has +1 stamina and +1 power bonus, she is going to be effective once she hits a power training. However, keep in mind that auto Haru training is going to be way different compared to the URA finale, which would actually help this card specifically due to scenario mechanics. So I will talk about that later. Lastly, she gives you Swinging Maestro from her chain event, which marks the second card that will give us the ability to get Swinging Maestro off of, which is of course really strong, since Swinging Maestro is one of the strongest gold recovery skills in the entire game. Now that we are done talking about the cards, how strong are they? For Riko Kishimoto, I believe this card is going to be a must bring on every single deck. And for Rice Shower, it is going to be a strong card, but it's just more situational compared to Riko. Moving on from evaluating the cards, let's talk about why they are so strong during the Unity Cup. For Riko Kishimoto, she is your main director. The picture on the left is going to be Riko Kishimoto not being on your deck while you are playing the Unity Cup. And the one on the right, you put Riko Kishimoto has one of your cards during the Unity Cup. You could be asking yourself, does this really matter? And it does, by a large margin. Since she is your main director, she has a very high chance of appearing in almost every single turn. And the fact that she has training effectiveness means that as the course of all your training, she would ramp some stats for you. That being extra speed, extra stamina, extra power, guts, and wit, all of them will be increased because she is going to be on a training for the most part. And if you were paying attention earlier, she had a decent amount of energy reduction. As you can see, this example is an MLB version of SSR Riko. I unfortunately did not find any lower limit breaks, but you get the point. She, as you can see, this is the exact same training, and looking at the bars, she would substantially reduce the amount of energy that you would need in order for you to do a said action. And she appears during the summer, which would make your training much stronger during the summer, since that means that you would reduce the energy that you would need to do said trainings and also get more stats off of them because she has training effectiveness. This is why I said that training effectiveness on Riko Kishimoto is very important. Bringing her would reduce your initial party members, which is going to be extremely strong because that means that your overall stat threshold in order to upgrade your team rank of a specific stat is going to be less than somebody not bringing Riko, which means that you will be able to get your training facility levels much quicker than somebody not bringing Riko. Lastly, she is a scenario link card, which means that her events will give more stats during Unity Cup training, which is going to be extremely strong. As you can see for this example, we would get +5 stamina, +5 guts, and +5 friendship gauge because we are using Riko in Unity Cup, which is going to be very strong since that adds up. If you are confused on what I'm saying currently, then consider watching the Unity Cup detailed explanation video that I made about a week ago. This goes over the basics and also going to give you a good idea of what to prepare for Unity Cup. Moving on, we have Rice Shower. Rice Shower is going to be very good in this scenario too, because she is also a scenario link card, which would of course change some specific interactions in the career itself. If you bring Rice Shower on your deck, she would open a new option, which is going to be your team name. Upon clearing the career with that team name, you will get a gold skill for it. And the gold skill is going to be cooldown, which is a good long distance recovery skill, which means that Rice Shower is going to give you 2 gold recovery skills instead of 1, which makes her a very valuable card for 1 slot. And upon Spirit Explosion with Rice Shower, she would give you slightly more stats compared to usual, since she is a scenario link character. And she also reduces your initial party size, which is of course very strong given the context of how training facilities work in Unity Cup. Here is an example deck of what you will most likely see in Unity Cup. Since you get so much stamina from Riko Kishimoto, and Rice Shower is a decent power card that could generate some stamina, you often do not need to bring a stamina card for this scenario for the most part. The SR with Makiani Fukitaru card is also a very strong card for this scenario, since she also is a scenario link. And the fact that Makiani Fukitaru is already a good wet card would make her almost runnable in every single deck. Kita-san Black is of course the best card currently on Global, and the other 2 cards are situational. You could swap them out for, let's say, 3 speed, 1 wet, 1 power, and Riko Kishimoto has a deck. It just depends. This is just an example deck for what I'm going to show you, which is going to be 7 initial party members instead of 10, which would accelerate how much you get your training facility levels, which means that you would get high training facility levels very quickly, which is of course going to be very strong, and especially since promoting to rank S will give you the gold version of ramp up, which is going to be its on. Here is also another example of a successful deck. Even if you do not have Kita-san Black at level 45 to 50, you could borrow Kita-san Black, then use Riko Kishimoto and Makiani Fukitaru, and then bring 3 cards of what you need. And this will still be very good in Unity Cup. As long as you bring about 2 cards that are scenario link, you would have a lot of success during this scenario. And lastly, we have 100 free pulls on this banner, which means that the pity itself is going to be cut in half, or 15,000 carats. So, should you pull on this banner? I would say so, and the reason is going to be the following. If you have 30,000 carats currently saved up, what you can do is pull on the Riko Kishimoto banner. You will be down to 15,000 carats. But since the anniversary is going to give us 6,200 total carats, and also we will get about 4,000 from the dailies that we would do normally, like logging into the game and doing our daily missions. We would get 10,000 carats without no champions beating, no story events, no new chapters, no careers. Like, you get the point. So you are going to be comfortably pulling on this banner, and you will be able to play the game for the next 4 months. However, keep in mind that Rice Shower is going to fall off after the Unity Cup, since Make a New Track, which is going to be the next scenario, would like cards that are going to be having a lot of race bonus, and Rice Shower unfortunately does not have good enough of a race bonus. And yeah, that is going to be it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section, and I will try my best to solve all of them. And consider subscribing, and I hope to see you in the next one.